Okay, awesome, guys. Thanks for joining on the live Q&A. It's been an awesome event so far. I hope you've all been enjoying it. So what we've decided to do is I've got some questions ready for you guys. If we kick off with Alicia, is that okay? I can't hear you. Can't hear you, Alicia. Okay, we'll
now.
Yay. Okay, so awesome. So I prepared a few questions for you guys in case VIPs didn't show up to the event. So what and I got ChatGPT to help me with this.
Smart lady.
Just getting prepared. The whole plan's gone out the window because it's just us guys. So, do you want to share with us your most successful project that you've done with ChatGPT?
Wow, what a big question. I will say that because of my knowledge of ChatGPT and just using it, that I've gotten so many speaking gigs. And I will say that, just overall, my most successful result of using ChatGPT has been the opportunities and the doors that it's opened for speaking, and then also coaching and consulting. So I'm just coming off a session where I was consulting with a company on how their staff can use ChatGPT. So I love charging and teaching for consulting. And I think that's an area where it's just going to continue to grow for all of us who love using AI, is that there's going to be more and more requests for us to come and do corporate speaking, teaching, and consulting.
Oh, that's super awesome. What about any of the other speakers? Have any of you, I know Joe has, but any of you harnessed AI to get speaking gigs? Unmute your mics and tell us about it. Joe, do you want to tell us what you've managed to do with speaking gigs?
Absolutely. So so I wrote a book in about 2 days. These are these background things you can't see, right? It comes. Hey, there we go.
All right,
Wrote
cool.
this book, The Secrets of Business AI, that's available on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, this was part of a group that I belonged to. We had a book challenge, and I just we just rebranded and started a company at the end of last year. And I was like, man, I got too much on my plate. I don't want to do it. They actually did a challenge for 60 days, and I was like, I didn't want to do a book and procrastinated. But there was a big event that they were holding, and they said if anybody finished the book, they would promote this. It was like 200 business owners, high ticket priced event. And I was able to use a bunch of AI tools, namely the most was ChatGPT, but we used others to bang that book out in just about 2 days.
Wow.
And the most powerful thing about that wasn't the book. It was what came after the book, right? It's and now you could use that in so many ways, do book signings, giveaways at events, use it to get speaking gigs, consulting, lands consulting projects, and so much more business. So yeah, it's been a huge help.
Awesome. And what about you, Karen?
Yeah, well, my thing's all about books. So Joe, that's amazing to get that book out in 2 days. Wow. I think for me, I got ChatGPT to write me a book, in a really small book with about 45 minutes back when I started exploring ChatGPT earlier in the year. And it just enabled me to really harness the power of it. So I've got a few people have approached me because ChatGPT isn't what I do. I help people to write books, not necessarily using ChatGPT, but using it as a tool if they want to use it, because some people love it and some people don't. And that's, it's really entirely up to them. But it's just opened doors to new opportunities by actually being one of the very few, certainly in the UK, book mentors to actually really focus on ChatGPT. A lot of people are against it. For me, it's about harnessing it as another tool that you can use alongside mentoring, alongside research, alongside conversations with people. It's another tool. So it's opened up doors to speaking on membership sites for people and other gigs like this, really. And that's where it's kind of leading me at the moment.
Awesome. Okay, so we've had a few VIPs join us. If you have a question that you want to ask, then if you just put your hand up, you can raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, along the bottom of your Zoom, you've got reactions, and then you can raise your hand. If you want to ask a question, raise your hand, and then we can get you unmuted, and you can ask your question. If not, we'll carry on with my questions until somebody wants to ask a question. Okay, so I've got a question for Danny. Can you tell me, I know you did a session about 50 pieces of content. Can you tell me how much it has improved your content creation process compared to what you used to do before this happened? Say a year ago.
A year seems like 5 minutes now, right? with the AI. And, you know, one of the first things I did is sat down and actually started thinking about prompts. And in literally a day, we had 114 pages of crazy ideas in a book that my buddy printed off. That's all about like prompting and creating content of any description. The time that it takes to do that is shortened to such a point now that you can literally go on the computer and turn that one idea into your book, your handouts, your slides, all of that, everything you need, right? Your headlines, your Facebook ads. But like we've just been discussing, you do need to have that editing element to make it sort of perfect for publication or for posting. And I think folks who just type something in, get the answer and immediately paste it and say that's done, they're probably missing a trick, right?
Yeah.
So the hardest part I think about content creation right now is the editing, and we are shifting away from thinking to prompting, but you still need that sort of element of taking that time to look things over. And one big important thing that does take some time as well is actually checking that what you've had produced is accurate. So even though it shortens the time frame, there is still that need to sit down and kind of go through things and make sure that you're not just going to put something out there and then discover that you've put something out there that might be an embarrassment or incorrect. So even though it's shortened that time, we'd still do have to spend some time sort of going over things before we say that's the final draft. But overall, it's fantastic, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It is like a different world to a year ago, isn't it?
100%.
Okay, so we've had a question in. Depeche isn't on the training, and I haven't managed to watch his yet. The question is, how does somebody upload content like what Depeche talked about in his training? Does anybody know? Does anybody watch Depeche's? Santosh, do you want to tell us a little bit more? Is it specifically for Facebook ads that you're asking?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Not necessarily Facebook ad, but Deepesh talked about it with his CBO cookbook. Like he used that as an example where he had this 500-page, process of documents for running Facebook ads. And then he was able to upload it in some sort of way. And then now whenever he prompted ChatGPT, it gave him responses based on an already uploaded, content of his own, like an internal process, like his 400-page CBO cookbook. But was curious, how do we require API access to do that? He was also he has built his own app as well. So I got a little bit confused. I mean, Deepesh isn't here, but I was curious how to upload your own, like if you have a workflow or even if you have a team of people and you put in all your information on a document and then now they don't have to message you each time. They can go in there and say how to do this, and it then looks from inside of your own data to then find the appropriate response.
All right. Okay. Who would like to answer that? Nathan, would you like to answer that? Can you shed any light on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously there's a hard way to do this and an easy way to do this. What a lot of the I guess platforms that are coming on of late are starting to democratize some of that. What I think what Depeche might have been talking about was fine-tuning a model. So what effectively that means is instead of you taking GPT-4, which would be the model behind the latest ChatGPT, you can give it, you can talk to the API and ask it to accept more information. It's called a fine-tuning a model. So you're creating your own model based on that one. So you take GPT-4, you give it a bunch of new information, and you call it something else, and then you can talk to that as the new model that you want to use. So when we're in ChatGPT now, you've got a little drop down. You can do 3.5 turbo. You can do 4. There's a whole bunch of things, plugins, all sorts of stuff that comes up there now. You can create your own one of those. You pay OpenAI. It's quite significant, but it's not like give them a PDF or point them to a website. That's not how it works. What you need to do is actually give them a whole list of questions and a whole list of answers. That's what's called fine-tuning a model. That's really hard to do. That Q&A thing that you need to do and give them that data. That's the data that they want it in. It's expensive and it's hard to do. What's happening at the moment is a bunch of smart tools are coming along with a bunch of other things like LangChain, and there's a few other things. I won't go into the technical details, but there's a few other service providers that are able to take that process and simplify it. So you now can say, hey, I've got this new information. It's in a PDF. It's on a help document website, Help Scout, or what's some of those other ones? The little pop-ups, basically the things that are on the right-hand side at the bottom of your websites. Usually they're some kind of documentation website that comes with how to do this and how to do that inside of your tools. It might be your business processes. It might be your website help documents, that kind of stuff. You can now just point these tools at that, and now you can chat with that. So there's websites like Chat PDF. You can just go to that website, upload a PDF, and now ChatGPT with that PDF. It might be a medical document. It might be a help document. It could be anything. And you're not having to fine tune it. It's creating kind of like a in-between version of that. It's not a really difficult one. It's not a really expensive one. It's fairly rudimentary. So Chat PDF is quite cheap. I think it only takes 10 pages or something. So if you've got something, Dipesh has got something like a 500-page website or a 500-page document, and that's the process you want to go to, you have to go to something a little bit more robust than that. But that's the kind of thing that's happening at the moment.
Okay, yes, I was just curious if, like, I mean, he didn't cover that part in the video, so I was just trying to understand how he actually uploaded, information into ChatGPT in order to get responses based on that document. I know sometimes you can do that in short form. You can say, ChatGPT, take this particular quote and give me something similar. Like, you can create a sort of a short thing right in the generating responses. But if you're trying to actually upload maybe a 10-page document, 20-page document, and now you want responses based on that, was how I was curious. But yeah, I'll check out Chat PDF, but was curious because there's also this concern, right, about OpenAI. Like the information is kind of public. So I don't know if you upload your own, like maybe it's a medical document of, some process that you want to use in your own company. And now you don't want it made publicly available. All those kind of things, or how does it work? It's like a private server, or how complicated it was actually.
Yeah, well, there is super complicated. So there is getting your own open source models, installing it yourself, and going completely private. These are super technical solutions, but they're every day. I'm sure everyone says this every single day. Everything's changing every day. It's getting pretty crazy out there on how complex this can be, but how simple some things are becoming that used to be really, really hard. So the idea of fine tuning a model, super hard, still super hard. Chat PDF takes 5 seconds, does basically the same thing, and that's kind of happening in everything to do with AI at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something as simple as like you're having customer service issues and you have all these 20 different questions that people ask all the time. And then, you put it in there, and then even if you want to have your virtual assistant go in and just check, ask a response, and maybe they don't have the exact words that were there on that document, but ChatGPT kind of knows that this is what, the client really means, and this is kind of an appropriate response, something along those lines.
Yeah, there's another platform called Chatbase, which is it's trying to do that more of that help document style thing. So that really we want to get to the point where we can say, hey, ChatGPT, I've got this new data. I want you to talk about that data, or I want you to act as a a help servant to that data, which is like your website help documents or your business processes. You could be a coach and you might want to give it all of your coaching courses. And now you've got an AI for your coaching course. That's where we're going with that kind of thing. So Chatbase, I think it's chatbase.io is another one that does specifically that type of thing. I want you to create an avatar of some sort of data, some sort of business process, some sort of personality, persona, and you give it that information, and then it acts as if a chat agent for that persona.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, I have a question for Erin. So Erin's session all about podcasts. I haven't watched it yet because I've been extremely busy. But I have a question. What's been the main challenges that you've overcome using AI for your podcast process?
I wouldn't say it's so much challenges. I warned of this on my presentation, and I'd warn of it here, is you can't take these and just be done with it. So we use it along our process from planning to editing to a lot of post-process publication, show notes, everything. And you've really got to be, it eliminates time, but it doesn't completely, it reduces time, it doesn't eliminate it. Let me say it that way. So you really have to be careful when you're going through. So I have tools that I will upload an episode and it'll give me show notes and titles. I would say it's 80% on. It's real. I've used several and it's definitely my favorite, but it's only about 80% good, right? You've got to go through and be like, that's really not what the episode was about, but I'll take some of the points you pulled from this and rewrite the show notes. So we've been able to reduce time for our freelancers who work for us and what they need to do, but be very careful. Do not go through Descript and just say, take out all the ums and call it a day, right? I know a lot of people will do that. You have to use it as a help, not to take everything off your plate.
Okay, awesome. That's fabulous. I know some people, that's the whole reason, one of the reasons for the summit is to show people how to do it, not the shortcuts way that a lot of people have been using AI and thinking and then not fully utilizing it and knowing the steps on what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Joe, I have a question for you. What would be your tips for anybody who wants to write a book? Did you say you wrote a book in a day or a week?
It was about a week altogether with between the outlines and the hardcore writing of it, interacting with the AI tool to generate the text was about 2 days core. And this was my third book. I published 2 books with O'Reilly Media previously, teaching technical topics on AI. And those took about over a year to do with the publisher. And this was before all the AI tools. So just to give you an idea of the compression we're looking at now. So the advice I would have for somebody that's looking to write a book with the AI tool is really just, the ideas are yours. And the AI tool is putting the meat on the bones. So you still got to go through the process of what you want the book to be about. What the purpose of the book is, really, what is the purpose of the book? Is it to inspire people? Like a friend of mine who, was an ex-Marine, and he has a really, really awesome story to tell about his experience as a Marine. His purpose is to inspire people. I have, myself and other business owners that we write books because we want to help other people with our knowledge and help businesses succeed in the world in AI and other topics. So you got to nail all that stuff first and then use AI to get ideas, to craft the outline, and then put the meat on the bones.
What's your opinion on, do you think Amazon's going to get flooded with a load of AI books?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when I was going through this experience, it was, I want to say probably about February this year, 2023. So ChatGPT was kind of, it was only out for a few months, and the wait times on Amazon were extended. They were a lot more than what other people that were using KDP were telling me. You usually get response back in a day, and it was taking about 10 days to do something they normally do in a day. So that's an indication to me that absolutely, yeah. I mean, the number of requests, especially in self-publishing, is going to explode. And there's a lot of, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of crap out there too. I mean, you can tell immediately, like, people that just, you know, they put no effort into it. They're just prompting this thing and copy and pasting. And that's, you know, I believe that the review system and you know, it'll be easier to tell that, but you can write a really good quality book using AI. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
So how
Can I put something in there as well,
Yeah,
Polly?
sure.
Audible have said no to anything voice recorded. So then there are other platforms that do audiobooks that are allowing it, but Audible have said no. So no auto generated audio books would be allowed. That's come out in the last couple of days.
Yeah,
so
good point.
have they got tools then to recognize if it's an AI generated voice?
That I don't know how they could. Yeah, I
So
don't know how they could.
They go through a quality check process by a human, and they may be integrating some tools to help them with this. I don't know. I think it'd be a fun experiment to see if we could get something through the system, right?
We should get Winter on it. Have you watched Winter's session? He's done his session is AI, voice.
Nice.
Well, we'll have to watch that. But yeah, I mean, the book writers here, Karen, you know, and the other book writers, maybe we'll do that as an experiment. Let's kind of, maybe it's like a 50-50. It's like 50 AI, 50 real, and we'll see if we can get it through the system.
That would be pretty cool experiment. I task that to you, Joe. I challenge you.
Oh, now you called me out. Now I got to do it. All right. No, but Nathan, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I was actually considering doing a voice cloning startup back a while ago, and when I found out that Audible would not, you know, they don't approve AI generated narration, you know, for a number of reasons. It's, you know, they're the largest one, so that's kind of a deal breaker. But yeah, we'll see how it evolves. I mean, certainly there's going to be more and more opportunities for people to produce good, really, really good narrations, and maybe some of these narrators who are afraid of losing their jobs are going to be able to donate their voice and scale themselves using the AI tools. Once they figure that out, I mean, that's game over. I mean, that's really big for them, the narrators.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your thoughts then on Amazon clamping down on all these AI books? What's it checking? Is it I know people talk about the plagiarism tools. How is it going to check? Do you know about that?
There's not much in the process, and you know, other people jump in, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the KDP and the Kindle direct publishing process, there's not a whole lot of, you know, copyright checking, plagiarism checking. There's nothing in that system. As you upload the manuscript, and as long as it meets their guidelines in terms of formatting, there's not much to check. I believe that they're leaving it up to the, you know, review system and the community to say whether something is good or bad and recommend things to the users, to the, you know, buyers of these things.
The fact that you can get a reader's guide to someone else's book and monetize that, like they're really not standing in the way. I think the fact that they've said no to voice recordings, I think that's only a short-term thing. I think probably just as a stop the wave. I don't know if you've heard of some of the newer versions, like 11 Labs is probably the most famous because of its quality on audio reproducing, and you can upload a 10-second clip of Joe Rogan and all of a sudden become Joe Rogan. The nuance to the actual, it's very hard to get conversational out of these because it doesn't know what to attenuate on a sentence to make it actually sound clean enough. You can try and help it. But there's new models now on Hugging Face, something called Bark, which will, you know, slow down a little bit and then might speed up and might clear its throat and have a quick giggle about something, and it throws these things in. You're like, wow, how is it doing this? It's algorithmically based on when it does it as well. You can prompt it to do it, but it also will, over a certain period, start inserting certain things that needed to happen. Someone takes a breath during the sentence because they've spoken for too long, that kind of thing. So these are getting really, really good. I don't know how they're going to be able to stop it eventually. I think it's inevitable. I'm all for it, by the way. I'm very, very bullish on all this stuff. So I don't know if anyone's recorded an audiobook before, but I've heard on good authority it's quite grueling and quite a painful
It's really
thing.
grueling. Yeah, I've done it for one of mine. It's really grueling. It took me good 2.5 days and that was working in a studio doing it and editing it as we went. It's pretty grueling. If someone else could do that, or an AI could do that for me, it would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Save my time.
If anyone's done the as an AI language model search on documentation before, there's some hilarious stuff on Twitter of like teachers and staff members and things like that present back someone's work and says, why does it say here as an AI language model? I can't answer that question for you. Did they just like literally copy and paste something and not actually even read the first sentence?
There's a big thing right now in Facebook communities where people are becoming AI experts or experts, and someone will ask a question and they literally just type the question into ChatGPT, paste it back in, but it includes the AI language model thing, or right at the bottom, where it kind of summarizes, and you can tell that it's ChatGPT instantly, and it's just pasting that in. And folks are actually getting good responses on the back of that, like, wow, thanks so much for that amazing answer. And you're like, so there's people who are not yet in tune to what this looks and feels like. And I guess there's a big thing about ethics across the board. I know Italy, they've taken a stance on it, and they're like, oh, this is like privacy and all these sort of things. It's definitely going to be interesting how this rolls out. We've even had a guy send a testimonial where he's used like the DID thing where it animates the face a little bit, and this testimonial speaking on behalf of this chap, but it's clearly AI, and he's using that to try and get a job. Like, this is my client speaking. So there's some crazy stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Clearly,
you get yourself in trouble, right? For sure.
Winter did one of me. He used my picture and made me talk.
I think if you look at the advancements in Midjourney right now, though, from where it's sort of started to where we are, we're up to 5.1 now, and you can see the difference in the image. At some point, this is going to be translated into video, where you can literally say, hey, do me a video to sell these sneakers, and then turn it into a short or whatever. But that technology is advancing so fast, like we've kind of said, at some point, it will fool the filters, it will fool the human. And if people are editing that and taking out the, like, I am a language model, they are in the running to get a job, but it's whether they can actually do that stuff in person. Like you're in the boardroom and you're like, hey, can you just remind us what you said that day? Well, that's where the problem's possibly going to come for these guys.
Karen, I have a question for you. So you're using ChatGPT for your writing.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the biggest thing that you've passed on to? Because you help people write books, don't you?
Yeah, well, a couple of clients have got getting some really great results. So not like Joe in terms of writing a book in a couple of days, but one of my clients was taking, alongside a day job, 2 to 3 weeks to write a chapter. Now it's taking 2 to 3 days. I've got another new client who's just come on board who is dyslexic. So we originally talked 2.5 years ago. And now she knows that ChatGPT can help her to overcome that dyslexia, because it's going to be a tool to help her alongside working with me. I've been updating one of my books, this one, if I can show it. And AI's been helping me. I went away to do some work on that about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I edited the whole book within a week with the help of ChatGPT. Now it has gone on the back burner because I've been away running a writing retreat, but it's really helped me to just do it quicker, just so much quicker than I would do just by myself, sort of, slogging my way through it. So that's what I'm finding. It's just client results, my results, and also not just writing books, but, in helping to craft, social media posts and blogs and emails and things like that. So it's just really about it's always like having that other point of view that if you kind of dump a load of stuff in because you're trying to make sense of it yourself, it can help formulate something that makes more sense from time to time.
And you can just do a lot of things faster, and you can put your feet up.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to say that, but I'm not having that opportunity at the moment. But yeah, you can do.
Okay, Nathan, I've got a question for you. What are the most upcoming applications that you've seen that we should be on the lookout for?
Really good question. So if you had asked me yesterday, it'd be different to the ones from today. So I really like this stuff. I really love this stuff. I was an avid Twitter user for the last couple of years. I find that to be sort of the leading edge, the front page of the internet kind of thing. I would follow maybe 50 people, and I ended up taking the app off my phone. The last few years have been a bit crazy with too much news is not good for you at the moment. But since December, I now follow about 500 people on Twitter. They're all AI people, and I just can't keep up. I had to take the app off my phone again because it's just too much going on. So something I saw today my time, it's 2:30 a.m. here, by the way, the Page GPT. So I'm not sure if anyone's seen Durable. That's probably the most famous of these kind of automatic website builder tools that sort of hit the market a couple of weeks ago. They showed a demo and it was like, oh, you could type words in and it'll build the website for you. And they showed this demo and everyone, like, their minds were blown. Oh my God, this is going to be so amazing. When they went live with it, which was last week, it wasn't anywhere near as good as what they said it was going to be. Someone had seen that and they put this in their demo yesterday and said, I saw that, and then thought, oh, are we going to do something like that as well? So this thing called Page GPT is literally, you can design things on the fly. So if you go and watch the demo for it, I need a website for a coffee company, and it builds the website. So I can understand, like, there's probably some other funnel builder type people here that sort of dabbled in that kind of stuff before. Templates are a thing. Templates are quite easy. They make life a lot easier. So I sort of saw that and thought that's pretty cool. But then he sort of presses a button and gives a new template. He says, I want it a bit darker, and it changes it to darker. I need some new pictures, puts new pictures in. And this is all happening like within seconds. I need a new section here. Put a new hero section in this funnel here. Click, opens new section. Oh, I don't like that one. Oh, gives you another one. So this is microseconds as opposed to, hours, even with templates, even with a really great funnel builder and some, lots and lots of templates and knowing exactly what you're doing. These things would take like hours. This was instant. So the ability of I need you to do this natural language interfacing with technology is the new normal. This is what's going to be everywhere. So I've been saying since December, I guarantee in 6 months, there'll be a button that is an AI button in every relevant app that we use. And in 12 months, our day-to-day working life is going to be unrecognizable. Now, I think that 6 month thing is now 3 months. I think we're really close to that being everywhere. The way that we interact with technology is changing to, what's that app again? Or was it on my laptop? Or am I going to have to, hang on, I've got to connect it to, no, you're going to pick up your phone and say, I'm trying to do this. Oh, you need this app. Or I need Spotify, or I need the music. What was the name of that song? Can you play that song that I was listening to yesterday? That's where we're going this year with our technology. And that's how it should be. Like, apps we're only ever a step towards that, I thought. I don't know if we're heading towards the metaverse. I'm not sure if I'm on that train yet, but the way that we interface with apps and that Page GPT was probably the clearest indication of that's exactly where we're going.
So based on that, what do you think, what are all the software companies, what if you had a software company, what would you be doing? Because if you are a drag and drop page builder software and this is happening, you're going to be out of business. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. So I'm guilty. I have a software company, but I'm building with AI. So no one knows where this is going. No one has a crystal ball. And what you normally would think of in terms of what's my moat, what's my pipeline looking like, what's the future of my business, am I safe? Have I got a good industry, or have I got a good focus, or I got a good group of people I could go after here and produce something of value for them? You would normally think in 3 to 5 year timelines, which is not a long time. That's not, the future of business. That's not, wealth planning for the future kind of thing. But that's just the rub. That's just how software as a service, the software industry works. 3 to 5 years, you get as much money out of that as possible. The world's going to change. You got to change with it. I think that's now 3 to 5 months. I have no idea where software is going. I just see these insights. Things like, take that Page GPT, for example. If we just talk about, is ClickFunnels safe? No. Is high level safe? No. None of those page buildery type things are safe. But look at how those things have progressed in the last couple of years. MailChimp was a email tool. Then they put a page builder in. Now they've got AI inside of MailChimp, and they've had it since January. These apps are going to either move very quickly with this AI stuff, or they're all going to die. And I mean, that's a good thing. Consolidation is a good thing, no matter which way you look at it. For us, if the app is helpful and useful, and it's getting on this whole natural language, I want to be able to do this, I shouldn't have to learn how to use MailChimp to use MailChimp. I just know what I need to do. And that's the holy grail with all apps. So as those apps add the natural language interface, I think they'll thrive.
Yeah. So how awesome would it be if you, in ClickFunnels, you could just go, right, I want that there and I want that there. Fix that bug. That would be awesome.
Imagine walking into the office and just like, hey, computer, do the stuff. And then like, go to the beach.
Do my bidding.
Do the
Fantasia
thing.
style.
You're not actually that far away from that potentially being a reality, because we're already seeing we can train the bot, we can give it information, we can load up our stuff and be like, hey, this is the way that we operate, this is the persona that we're speaking. You're seeing things like the Napoleon tool inside of ClickFunnels where you can regenerate headlines and stuff, but are we at a stage where you just say, do the thing? And the computer does that. We've got the sort of auto GPT coming online as well, which is insane. All of these things, and like Nathan says, this stuff is happening so fast. You just like somebody's crazy idea away from that being a possibility. It's exciting. It really is.
Definitely.
Regarding the auto GPT, has anybody used that? I looked at it and it was a bit too confusing for me, so I left it alone for now.
My session had a big section on agents.
Oh, awesome. I will be diving into that one soon then. It's fantastic. Has anybody got any AI or chat GPT myths that they want to debunk? No?
I think this was brought up before, is it's not like easy, just say one thing, click one button, and all your dreams come true. Like there's an iterative process where humans, we as humans are working with these AI tools to augment our abilities to create things, right? There's a collaboration process that takes place. If all of us here, we've gone through the experience, but for people that are going through this experience in the first time, I would say to set expectations this is like you have a friend or a tool or a team that you're working with that's going to help you do what you want to do. This isn't like a complete just go tell what to do and it's done.
Yeah, so it's training, it's training it, isn't it? It's like onboarding your new member of staff.
Yeah, you have to learn how to use the tools. You need to, even with ChatGPT, you need to know how to prompt it, right? You need to know how to iterate. And the real power is in the speed of iteration, right? It's like, take any design process. When you work with a designer, whether it's a web page or whether it's a logo designer, graphics designer, or a writer, is there's always this iterative process, right? They go and they do something, they create something based on what they think you want. They show it to you and you come back and you say, oh, this looks great, but can you change X, Y, and Z? And this goes on. And usually it takes like days, right? It's like you send them off, they go work on it for a day or a couple of days, and then they come back and you go through this iterative process. Well, with these tools and the natural language interface, that becomes such a fast process where you don't have to take days anymore. Instantly, you're telling it how to revise and tweak what you're looking for to get closer to the result in your mind. That's the power.
That is the power. I think some people, which we're going to learn a lot from these sessions, is about training your session and going back to that same session on ChatGPT that you trained it and keep using it. I think not a lot of people know that when they're just dabbling in it, do they?
Mm.
I think another myth is, or discussion point probably open for this group here, a good one actually, is AI is going to take my job. So that's something that that comes up in every conversation daily. Like most people we talk about, we get talking for 10, 15 minutes about how cool things were, how amazing stuff is, where the future's going, and then, but it's going to take my job. So I think building on what Joe said, it's a force multiplier. It's a productivity multiplier. What normally would have taken 10 hours could take 10 minutes. That's amazing. You could do 10 times as much. You could have 10 times as much output in such a short period of time. And if you're really good at your business processes, you can streamline your business process regardless of AI. If you're really good at business processes and standard operating procedures, that's a force multiplier for any business. But if you could give some of those things to AI as well, again, you're getting that another step change of productivity out of your outputs. So I'm very bullish on that too.
Yeah, we like to say, in most cases, you're not going to be replaced by AI, but you might be replaced by somebody who knows how to use AI. And that's the key, right? It's like everybody, no matter what you do, where you work, what your name is, go learn these tools, because they're only going to get better and better and better. And the people that are learning them now are going to be so far ahead than the people that wait a year to start jumping into this. It's just like, there's no doubt that that's going to happen.
Definitely. And another analogy is like architecture, for example. Before computers, architects would sit down at a big drawing board with pencils and papers and rulers, and they would design something out. And they might take one big commission a quarter, maybe a couple a year. Then computers come along. Oh my God, I got all this new stuff. Now they can hire draftspeople, and they can take a concept. The draftsperson does the actual drawing, and they do it all on a computer. Now you're doing 10 a month. Okay, well, if I can take, we're not there yet with, I thought initially that we could go, oh, look, ChatGPT knows maths and CAD, right? We could get a 3D model out of some maths. It's not that easy. It's way harder than that. It's really way harder than that. But we're getting close to that. So you could take a natural language input and potentially end up with some geometry and some maths, and potentially get a 3D thing coming soon. So we might be able to have 3D printer. Hey, 3D printer, please print me this thing out. But like if an architect has now understood computing and we get something close to that, 3D-ifiable thing, now they're going to be able to do 100 commissions a month or 1,000 commissions a month. Like this is fantastic for growth and opportunities like that.
That's also pointed to the scalability of this. People, I don't think most people underestimate this. The scalability opportunity here with AI tools. You can have individuals and small companies compete with larger companies if they're using AI tools and the larger companies are too slow to adopt them. It's the scalability opportunity is there for the small guy to beat out the big guy. It's there.
Yeah, look, whoever's got the most value, right? Speed to market's important. Speed to market is really important. So if you can beat them out there, that's fantastic. But also, you may have speed to market, but you may actually have better value than the bigger company. Whoever's got the bigger value should be the one that's winning. That's meritocracy.
Yeah, everything. Marketing. You can produce more marketing content, get it out there, more video content, all that. Produce the marketing content, target your audience better on the sales side. If you can make more sales calls or more contacts via email or social media on the sales side, then, you know, on the customer fulfillment, customer experience, you have a better customer experience because of AI. And then recruiting. You use AI for recruiting and hiring, man, game over. The big companies are going to lose staff to smaller individuals and other companies that are using AI, because the experience is going to be there. The ability to grow as an employee, to be able to learn these tools, is a tremendous opportunity for people. So I think that's a huge opportunity. And
Okay, does anyone want to share what is their absolute go-to AI tool that they use every day? Not ChatGPT though.
I'll give mine. I've been obsessed with VidYO. So it's you upload your long form videos and it cuts it up for you and pulls clips for you. And you can set it for vertical video, square, horizontal. Again, it's not going to pick the absolute. I mean, sometimes you're like, I know that this is a really good clip I want to pull, but it is fantastic for like just uploading hour-long podcasts and and it makes the clips for you. You just have to go through and edit. I can't tell you the time it's reduced for us. Every day we're using it.
Awesome. I need to check that one out. What was that? VidYO?
VidYO.ai.
All right. Okay.
Similar one is the Get Munched. So like you're munching something and that'll go out there. You throw your, hour-long video into this thing and you choose, maybe you want reels and you want, I don't know, YouTube shorts. And what it'll do is it'll go through the video, identify what it believes are the good bits. It'll put the captions on for you. It'll chop it up. And out of an hour, you end up with sort of like 10 ready to go videos. And it even kind of tries to create the text descriptions and the hashtags and stuff to go with it. That's pretty cool. And I've thrown some stuff into there and you've put them onto, for example, Clapper or TikTok or whatever, and you add some really good results with those. That kind of technology, again, it seems to be emerging, but really good apps. Of course, Midjourney, you can't live without Midjourney as well. Some great stuff doing, you can do logos and all that sort of stuff. It's exciting times.
Have you managed to get some logos out of Midjourney?
100%, yeah, and some of the sort of, I know there's like a gazillion prompts that you can use in Midjourney, but using just simple things like give me something on a white background or vector or the word logo, it's kind of got an idea, but of course it can't do text. Yeah. So there's an element of, unless you want some weird words.
I've seen that when people have tried to put words on it and it goes all jumbled.
Yeah, just to literally go Canva or Photoshop though, because if you ask specifically for a white background, it's dead easy to go around that text, replace it with your own, and there are some very interesting results.
The building on that, Danny, we're building a logo maker, like an AI-based logo maker, and that text piece is a big issue. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to use Bing and Bing's AI with the Bing chat and the Bing image. So the Bing's image generator, what it actually is a newer, not available to us yet version of DALL-E. So DALL-E is OpenAI's image generator. If you go into DALL-E and type in green logo bear coffee company, you're going to end up with words. Even if you say no words, you go into Midjourney and you say no words, do it 5 times, you probably get 3 of them with words in it. If you go into Bing and type the same thing into the image chat, even though it's DALL-E, it's still DALL-E, but it's a newer version of it. The results are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, like way better. And I've even been able to get some simple words out of it. There are a couple of tools on Hugging Face that are doing better word generation. So logo art, like look at this word like fish, and it produces a new version of the word fish, but there's a fish in one of the letters. So an actual shape of a fish in the word. So that, I don't know what that's called. There's some term for that, some word that means that. So they're getting a lot better with text-based in some of the models now too.
It's only a matter of time, right?
I haven't been able to get much good out of Dolly. Is it Dolly?
Yeah, it's
In
not
the
great.
UK.
It's not great.
Oh, Joe, you had some information today from Google, didn't you? You wanted
Yeah,
to share?
so my answer to your question would be actually I'm a big fan of Bard. I've been using Bard and watching it really improve like on a daily basis. One of the things I loved about it was just it integrates with other tools really well. One that I use for training and for programming is Google Colaboratory, which is like a notebook style cloud service that you could write code and execute code on. So what's cool in Bard is you just ask it to write some code, and then click of a button, you open up this other interface in Colaboratory. You could execute your code and debug it right away. Really useful. But the big news is today. Did anybody get a chance to tune in to Google I/O an hour ago, 2 hours ago? Oh man, so Polly and I were just talking about this before the call. To me, this is like a major day in history. This is like a historical day. Go back and watch the Google I/O 23. It was just live streaming now. It was about an hour into it before we had to jump on this call. But Google is showing you how within the next couple months, all of the language models are going to be integrated into their products. Search, workspace, like things where one thing they showed was like for slides that you can, first of all, it'll rewrite your slide content. It'll recreate images for you, right in the tool. With a click of a button, it generates all the speaker notes for you. So now you have a whole script for your slide presentation. The capabilities that they have integrating with Gmail is like a whole nother level now, where it's writing response emails for you, multiple versions of it, so that you can choose which one you like better. You can change the tone, the style. What else? Everything. The Sheets integration is phenomenal. Use Bard and you ask it to put the data into a table, it puts it into a table. You ask it to add a column for some another information. They ran some example about like somebody that was looking for something to study. They're like, well, what should I study in the space of like art or something? And it listed these topics. So then it said, well, what schools are good at this particular topic? And it showed like 4 schools in Pennsylvania. So it says, put this information into a table, put all the information into a table. It said, add a column where which schools are private and which ones are public. It added a column with that information. The integration into the Google products is like a game changer. Like this is so huge and it's going to happen so fast. Microsoft also announced this with GPT into the Microsoft Office 365. That was like a month ago or so with Copilot. They're calling it Copilot. So you're going to see this, and it's just going to be there in everything that we're using now. Once you understand how to use it in the power, things are just gonna, you're going to be able to do boring, mundane tasks super fast, and you're going to be able to do really cool tasks, at blazing speed. It's just game changing.
The problem I can see is, I don't know what other people's thoughts are on this. You talk to people online, and then if you meet them in real, they don't talk anything like the way they type, because ChatGPT did it all for them, and they can't actually hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Possibly the danger.
Catfishing was the expression used years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a show about that, right? I remember that. A TV show about catfishing. The guy would show up and the girl would not be as beautiful as her picture looked, and vice versa.
That's going to be the same now, isn't it? It's going to be worse. Santosh has a question for you, Joe. You mentioned about using AI for hiring. Is there a specific tool that you recommend that he could use for that?
So I would start with the, Bard or ChatGPT to do what you normally do. There's not a tool that I use for the process. It's really improving the recruiting and hiring process in general. So the one thing, one thing that's kind of low hanging fruit is to use it to write job descriptions. Right. So you can use it to write job descriptions. That actually, if you go back to the live stream today on Google I/O, they ran through an example of just that in the live stream when they're talking about using Google Docs. So you could use it to write that. You can use it to write scripts for recruiting videos. You can use it to generate your onboarding process. Anything from recruiting to onboarding to offboarding to putting together training programs for your employees, ideas for employee retention. Just the sky's the limit.
Awesome. Thank you. So has anybody got any other questions or anything that they want to bring up? Because I'm just conscious of the time. I said we'd be here an hour. Has anybody else got anything else they want to add in?
I've got one more thing. So I mentioned this in my chat as well, and I've mentioned to it a lot of people, especially when you're asking about apps, like what's a good one to do this? What's a good way to do that? Everyone's probably aware of this on this call, but there's a bunch of aggregator tools out there that kind of collect up all the latest and greatest AI apps. Futuretools.io is probably my favorite with that. Matt is fantastic. He does a YouTube channel as well, and he really does a good job of breaking things down for people. There's like 1,500 AI tools on that, and it's all filtered by the type, video and chat and all this sort of stuff. And to Joe's point before, where the larger corps that have access to a lot of things like Microsoft or Google, they've got suites of apps that we would use on a day-to-day basis. AI is going to be in all of those. So I built integration with ChatGPT into Sheets. So you can go equals AI and then prompt it. You can say, can you summarize that table for me? Or what's the sentiment analysis on all of this data in here, all these survey responses, that kind of stuff. That was pretty rudimentary. We did that back in January. Microsoft announced its integration. I mean, that sort of tool is dead. I didn't really monetize that. I just built it for my own use, and we still use it. It's quite handy. But all these tools that bring AI into themselves, you've got all these suites. So there's 1,500 tools on futuretools.io. Google's announcement today would have just wiped out half of them. So back to our original point on, if you're a software as a service business, what's the future hold for you? Well, who knows? Who knows? You might build something really cool, but where's the moat? Where's your protection around an app when the larger players can go, yeah, we do all that now. So all you people that are building these cool, so there's the website builder option we talked about before, but go back to slides. There are tools. If you go to futuretools.io and type in presentation, there's 20 tools that are automatic presentation creation tools. Well, Google and Microsoft already have that. So are you going to go and work out how to use some new presentation designing tool, or are you going to use Keynote like you do every day? Are you going to use Google Slides like you do every day? Oh, now there's a button for that. I'm not going to go and learn a new tool. I'm going to use the one I use every day and just have AI do stuff inside it. So it's definitely a very fast moving landscape.
Definitely.
I would add one thing to that. The tools are really exciting, and Nathan, you bring up a good point. Just how, I mean, it's literally an explosion since like January this year, right? It's like amazing. The amount of tools that are available, and some of them are really awesome. Some of them will be replaced by, Google and Microsoft. But here's the thing that I would caution people, or just suggest to business owners out there, or entrepreneurs, or people that want to use this, is don't focus on the tools. Look at your process. Look at what you're doing in business. You don't need a tool that's going to write more email. You don't want to write more email. Look at the process that you're doing and ask yourself, how can I do this process smarter? Right? If you have something that's a bottleneck or something that you do repetitively that takes a long time, that's a good area to focus on, and then start talking to people like the people on this call, reaching out to them, reaching out to the experts, reaching out to Nathan, reaching out to Karen, reaching out to Aaron and Danny and Polly and Santosh. Reach out to these people and say, hey, look, this is taking me such a long time. Is there a smarter way to do this with AI? That's where you want to start. Don't go down this rabbit hole of like trying all these tools. It's not going to be effective. Focus on the process and what you want to achieve, and the tools will come.
Awesome. That is a perfect way to finish our call, Joe. Very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It's been awesome. And thank you all for being speakers. And I can't wait to catch up on all the sessions. Thank you so much, guys.